this is all about planning your script. Okay. So if you're going to plan your script, the first thing that people start telling you is, oh, you've got to do research. Okay. So there's good research and there's procrastination. Don't use research as an excuse to avoid writing. It happens all the time. People get themselves stuck. You don't need to become an expert with a PhD in the subject you're going to write a short film script about. You're going to need just certain pieces of information. Okay, so, when you decide what you're going to write, you've got an idea. All you need to do is, as you come to each section of a story and you realize, okay, how does a nuclear reactor overheat? What we're going to do is, you're just going to put in big letters, research, and you're going to move on. You just have to say, the nuclear reactor starts to overheat, big letters, research. You get to the next part of your story, and you need another piece of detailed research, and again, the same thing is, you just write in big letters, research, and move on. What you will do then is, when we come on later to writing the actual full first draft of the script, you'll go back and you'll only research those specific areas. Okay? You'll go in and get those details. Because otherwise what happens is you're going to immerse yourself in a ton of reading and you'll probably use about 1% of it in your script. Okay? So remember, research isn't procrastination. Don't get sucked into that. The next thing to think about when you're planning your script is ambition versus practicality. Now, it's great to be ambitious. We want you to be original. We want you to be pushing boundaries. At the same time, you want to get your short script made into a film, whether you're going to make it or whether you're going to work with collaborators. So, have you got the resources that will enable you to do this or to attract other people to do it? For example, if you decide to write a short film script set on a nuclear submarine, unless you own one, the chances are it's going to be a bit of a struggle, isn't it? So think about how can I find something that gives me an idea that I can use my resources with, or I've got access to those resources. So start planning now. Ambition versus practicality. Okay, so we've talked a couple of times now about, are you going to make this film on your own, or are you going to collaborate with other people? Okay. So if you're going to write a script and you're going to collaborate with other people, there's a couple of things again to think about is, why are people going to want to collaborate with you? What's going to be the hook that's going to pull them in? What are the resources you have? What are the resources you have access to? What's the incentive to get involved with you? Filmmaking, and in fact screenwriting, is the most collaborative form of all the writing arts. When you write a book, you maybe work with an editor, you work with a publisher. When you write a script, it has to be involving lots of other people because eventually they're going to have to realize, or you're going to have to realize that script. So right now, start thinking about, are you going to be the director, the producer, camera person, sound recordist? Are you going to do all that yourself, or are you going to collaborate with other people? So when we're talking about collaborators at this point, one of the things to think about is, can you find somebody who's going to help you produce this? So, a producer's job covers a whole variety of areas. Now, for example, some producers will come up with an idea and they will bring it to a writer and they will work with a writer to turn that into a script. Other producers will come on board when a writer approaches them with a great script that they get excited about being involved with. Producers bring in the crew, they help find the crew, they help find resources, they help find location managers, in some cases they help find money, but you've got to find a reason to hook the producer. How are you going to help them? How are you going to want them to get involved? Why are they going to want to get involved? Okay, so throughout the series of modules that we're going to do, we'll talk a bit more about what producers do, but start thinking about how can you find a producer? And one of those ways of finding producers is start putting yourself out there. Start joining writers groups, filmmakers groups. Get yourself known. See what's being produced and who's produced it lately. Okay? Because this business is all about who knows who. So you've got to start getting yourself out there. So your action list at the end of this module is, we'd like you to think about making a list of all your contacts and resources. Who have you got that can help you? What have you got that you can use in the script that you're gonna create? Okay. Next, I'd like you to think about who your collaborators are going to be. How are you going to attract those collaborators? What's the incentive for them to get involved? Sit down and make a list of it. It might be financial. It might actually be that you've got certain resources that are going to allow them to work on a bigger project than they've worked before. Remember, it's about creating opportunities for other people as well. So when we talk about incentives, one of the first things that people often say is, well, I've got a brilliant script. And it may well be, but there's lots of brilliant scripts out there. What you've got to do is create an excitement and an energy around it. So, for example, it may be that you put the first part of the money into the pot to get this thing made, or that you have a contact that's got a fantastic resource, like a location, like some amazing props. But you've got to incentivize other people. Think of it like you're going to be the train driver on the train. The train's leaving, everybody's excited, they want to be on board that train. Okay? So look around and think of some concrete things that you've got. A great script is just the start of the process. Okay? So get out there and do that homework.